it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to another episode of PickUp Vlogs. So you guys could probably tell, given the airing of this episode, yes, Black Friday has come and gone, and for the first time doing the show, I actually went Black Friday shopping. And to be perfectly honest, my first time going Black Friday shopping, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Especially the amount of deals I got on Black Friday. Also, full disclosure, this pickup vlog also includes a bunch of stuff I bought a few months ago that I haven't shown off yet. So yeah, as you can see, look at all this fucking shit we gotta go through, so let's get started. Okay, first off, for those who might not know, I've started to take a real interest in film. I mean, not movies, but I'm talking about millimeter formats of certain movies. And one of the formats I've easily come by is, of course, Super 8mm. So the first thing I got here is actually a 8mm film splicer. What you do here is you take two reels, you attach them here, and you kind of thread it through this little area here, and the screen will light up showing the picture, and you just hand crank it to show the whole film. This is kind of the old school way that a lot of filmmakers used to do editing back in the day on Super 8. And on top of that, this thing actually works. Look at the light there. You can actually see the screen there. Now, if I had some 8mm film, I'd be able to show you, but I'll probably save that for another time. And since we're on the subject, I got this big fucker. This is a Super 8mm projector with sound, believe it or not. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that Super 8 films weren't always silent. Some of them actually came with sound. But this thing is pretty cool. I got it at Value Village for actually half off. This used to be 30 bucks, so I got it for 15. And just to show you guys, this thing again actually works. Hear that? Oh, yeah! Look at that! Yeah, it just completely brightened up the picture there, but as you can see, the quality, the brightness on this projector is pretty damn good. So I'm hoping down the road I'll be able to buy some actual film and I'll be able to watch films on this Super 8 projector. The one I'm looking for the most is not Star Wars, but King Kong, because I love King Kong. And speaking of video formats, I have Hook on Laserdisc. If you guys don't know what Laserdisc is, it's pretty much a record-sized DVD. Now, I was finally able to obtain a Laserdisc player, so I've been starting to collect these a bit more, and this is my first one. This is Steven Spielberg's Hook, and actually, if we take it out of the package here, I love the cover and everything on this Laserdisc. I mean, you got all this in the back, the chapter selections and everything. This is, of course, the widescreen version, but look at this. You won't get this on a DVD. Yeah, holy crap. Look at all that info and behind the scenes stuff. This is great. I love this Laserdisc. I'm hoping to get a few more soon. I want to get King Kong, and I want to get Star Wars and a few others on Laserdisc, so hey, that's something to put on my to-do list. And as we talk about discs, I got this. It's King Kong on HD DVD. Now, if you guys don't know what the hell HD DVD was, it was a rival competitor to the Blu-ray, and unfortunately this format lost. This was basically the Virtual Boy of video formats. Now, I found this dirt cheap at Value Village. It was half off. I got it for about $2.50, but I figured I'd add it to my King Kong collection as part of a potential future episode involving video formats. Now, keeping in the theme of kaijus and giant monsters, I did find a couple of VHSs that are actually pretty cool that I picked up. Now, for a while, me and my buddy Joshua Botello of the Endgamer64, linked to his channel down below to subscribe, have been actually on the hunt for a few VHSs at our local thrift shops. So the three here I have were actually recommendations from him. The first off being Gorgo, in this really kind of cruddy VHS box. This looks like this was a video rental store edition. Yeah, this is from Video Hits at a certain address. I'm actually curious to see the owners of who own the stuff and get the history on them. But I love this box. This is just like, it has horror on there. Gorgo, if you guys don't know, is a British knockoff of Godzilla that came out, I think, in the 60s. But this is actually a really interesting VHS. I've never seen something like this. And I guess what they did was they took the cardboard slit and they just put it into a rental case, which is pretty cool. But I always like these sort of rental cases from rental video stores. Now, this one is interesting because Josh recommended I grab it for about 50 cents, and that is Dinosaurs and Prehistoric Animals. I had no clue what was on this VHS when I popped it in. This was part of a video company called UAV, and they actually put out one of my favorite dinosaur documentaries with Jurassic Giants, which was only available on VHS for the longest time until it was available on YouTube. But the documentary they present here is actually called Dinosaurs, Those Terrible Lizards, which used leftover animation from the Land of the Lost. If you guys want to see a review of that, plus several other dinosaur documentaries, link below to Huey 2 Moore's animated movie reviews of the top 10 animated dinosaur documentaries. And And while we're on the subject of dinosaurs, I couldn't help but get Jurassic Park on VHS. This was actually the first time I ever saw the film back in the day as a kid. I did have the VHS growing up, and then I later threw it out. But I kind of had some nostalgic memories of the VHS, so I just got this pretty brand spanking new. It actually looks really nice. I actually just love how they just stuck the poster on there, and then just had, I love the Art Deco in the back, especially with the sunset. That's fucking beautiful. But yeah, I had some fond memories with this VHS growing up. And speaking of dinosaurs, I actually managed to grab a few Jurassic Park toys, so let's take a look. If you guys haven't seen my review of the Jurassic Park toys, link down below to the Jurassic Park Legacy reviews, but I did manage to find a couple of new ones after that episode aired. The first one being Tim. This is one of the original Kenner figures from the original Jurassic Park toy line. He's got a little kind of Chewbacca belt strap there. It's a pretty nice figure. I got this at a local antique mall that's actually closing down, but he was about half off, which was pretty cool, so it was about $3. And then at Fan Expo, I was actually lucky enough to come across this. This is a Lost World Site B Velociraptor, which for some reason never appeared in the movie, and this is kind of a very kind of odd-looking raptor. I never understood how this was a Velociraptor. I always assumed this was like a Dromaeosaur or something, but no, this is a Velociraptor as part of the Lost World toy line. Now, what's actually really cool about this figure is, you know, you move its tail around and his head kind of wraggles like rah, wah, wah. But it's actually pretty cool. I actually really like this figure. It has nice articulation, it's very posable, it's probably one of the better Lost World toys. And moving on from Jurassic Park and the Lost World, we go into Jurassic World, where I found this bad boy. I know what people have said about this toy, and a lot of people says it sucks. And yeah, this is the Indominus Rex from the Jurassic World toy line by Hasbro. And yeah, I gotta admit, as much as this is pretty much the crown jewel of the Jurassic World toy line, I can't help but think, yeah, this thing sucks. But it is actually pretty cool to have in my collection because I've wanted the Indominus Rex for a while. Picked this guy up relatively cheap at Value Village for about, I think about $3, which compared to online stores is ridiculously expensive. But I can't remember if this guy has batteries or not. No, he doesn't have batteries. I actually took him out, but he is supposed to like roar when you move its lever, and that jaw is actually pretty solid. I do like how they have rubber skin like in the old toys, but the rest is just a solid plastic. But yeah, he'll roar, he'll camouflage, he'll do a bunch of stuff. He's a pretty cool figure overall. I kind of like this guy. And given I was able to obtain the Gallimimus and Velociraptor from a fan, I figured I'd go ahead and buy a few more Fallen Kingdom toys. So the newest one I got is the Dimorphodon. This guy was relatively cheap. It was about $5 at Toys R Us, but he's overall a pretty cool figure. I've always wanted the Dimorphodon for a while, and the original Jurassic World toy really sucked ass, so I am glad that Mattel overall took over the license, because the articulations on these guys are wonderful. The mouth moves, which is a major plus, and they're very posable. They make for great stop motion figures, honestly, having done a bit of it myself. But yeah, the Dimorphodon is actually pretty solid, one of the better Fallen Kingdom toys, and I'm hoping to get a few more in the future. One other thing that was more of a borrow from a friend, but we had to use it for the Jurassic Park ride review, is this construction helmet for our costume department. All I did was just basically take the Jurassic Park logo and just print it out, and then just basically scotch taped the damn thing on there. But yeah, this is the helmet that Bradley used in the Jurassic Park ride review, and if you guys want to see that review, link down below to the full playlist of the Jurassic Park Legacy reviews. And speaking of costumes, let's take a look at some of the stuff I got off discount at Halloween stores after Halloween. Now, this is just an example of a few donations I got for my costumes after my sister's wedding, but given the wedding was a Halloween theme, I actually got a bunch of the costumes left over from the party. So most of these are just basically pirate hats and, you know, scarves and other pirate hats. There's like a ton of shit in here, holy crap. But these were one of many donations I got after the wedding, so these will definitely come in handy for future episodes, especially if I ever want to consider reviewing the Pirates of the Caribbean series one day. Now, on to stuff for cosplay. I actually found this at a thrift shop for about $3. It's a used morph suit, but the reason I'm getting a morph suit is not only for blue screen stuff that I'll be using for effects, but at some point I do want to cosplay Brendan Small from Home Movies. If you guys don't know what Home Movies is, it's one of my favorite shows of all time, one of the best animated shows ever made, and it's filled with dry humor and really got me into making films. And this morph suit I hope to turn into a Brendan Small cosplay for a later convention, so hopefully you'll see that down the road. Finally, getting into a franchise from a galaxy far, far away, I managed to get a new Stormtrooper outfit. This is the third one I've bought, and these costumes we actually used in our Star Wars Saga reviews, and given I'm starting to work on the prequels, I managed to stock up on getting more outfits. it. So this I got half off at Party City, which is perfect because I do need more Stormtroopers in later videos. Also, this is the one that Angry Joe used in his Star Wars Battlefront 2 review, so you can definitely get good quality in this thing. But the reason I bought the costume was because I found a third Clone Trooper helmet. Now I have a total of 3 of these things in my household, and these are great, especially if you need extras in a Star Wars fan film. These Clone Trooper helmets are actually really good. You can find these at local thrift shops relatively cheap, but they're overall pretty damn cool. They got electronics and everything, but if you ever need Stormtroopers, just pick a ton of these up. These are fantastic, and these are by Hasbro from the Clone Wars series, but they're overall great for Star Wars cosplays.
Star Wars, Clone Troopers, the Republic's bravest warriors. With the Clone Trooper helmet and blaster, you can lead with real Clone Trooper commands.
Green light, go, go!
Or give your own orders.
Second squad, attack!
With the Clone Trooper voice changer helmet and blaster, victory is yours, each sold separately.
And since we're on Star Wars, there's a ton of Star Wars stuff I managed to find in the last few months. First of all, at my local antique mall that's closing down, I did manage to find a few relatively cheap Star Wars action figures. The first one here is actually from the Clone Wars. This guy is, I guess, some bounty hunter or some guy. He's got a cool blast and everything. He was about, I don't know, $1. The best one being this Rebel Trooper from Endor, which is from the original Kenner line, and this guy I got it for about $5 as well because he was half off. But this guy was like 25 cents, and I couldn't help but pick him up, and that, of course, is not even Jar Jar Binks, it's Representative Binks. Yes, get the action figure that pretty much sold the entire Galactic Republic to the Empire.
Misa propose that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
You're not funny! So action figures aside, I did manage to get a couple of new DVDs that I had to replace for my old ones because my old ones are pretty scratched. The first one being Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on DVD. I actually really dig this DVD because it comes with a bunch of bonus features like web documentaries, a great documentary called Within a Minute where they basically show you the entire process of what it takes to make a movie in 1 minute sequence of the film, which is the scene where Anakin fights Obi-Wan. It is the widescreen version, and I know if you ever see blue on these DVDs, it means the full screen edition, which are fucking terrible. But I had to get a replacement for my old one, given my old one's pretty scratched up. And the best buy I got in my DVDs was, of course, another copy of the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy, which was first released on DVD in 2004. You always want to get the silver one because this one is the widescreen edition. Every time you see gold, it's full screen. Again, crap. But this was the first time Star Wars got released on DVD, and I remember I got this long ago, and I absolutely loved it. Again, my old copy was pretty scratched up, so I gave it to donation, but I did want to get a replacement, and I know this one has a bunch of the special edition crap on it, but honestly, just for nostalgic reasons, I really dig this box set. It does come with, all 3 films, episodes 4, 5, and 6, plus a bonus disc, which is really cool because I have fond memories of this. This has the documentary called Empire of Dreams, the making of the Star Wars trilogy, which is a fantastic documentary, but it also comes with a ton of other stuff, trailers, TV spots, including, at the time, a preview for Revenge of the Sith, which really blew a lot of people out of the water that we finally got a preview of the damn movie before any press release came out. So this DVD box set is actually really solid, and if you can ever get your hands on it, definitely do. Another fun nostalgic memory from my childhood that I managed to pick up for about $2 was Star Wars The Original Trilogy Visual Dictionary. If you guys don't know what these are a set of books that Lucasfilm put out that showed all the kind of details of each character, prop, and everything for the entire Star Wars saga, and what I love about this is for early cosplayers, this was a great frame of reference to build on for props and costumes and whatnot, because it is a fantastic book. I know they did put out the entire saga in 1 volume, but this is the only one I could find for relatively cheap, but if I ever find the complete visual dictionary, I'll probably just throw this one out and get that one. The last thing I want to show that is Star Wars related is a couple of props I managed to get on Black Friday because they were relatively cheap. One of them being... this is the Disney Store exclusive Ultimate Effects lightsaber of Rey, or Anakin, or as I call this, the Skywalker saber. This is a relatively great toy. It has a really nice rubber grip and plastic. This is pretty much the cheaper version you can get compared to the Ultimate Effects or Force Effects. And these are relatively about $20-$30 at the Disney store, which is fan-fucking-tastic compared to the Ultimate Effects, which are normally about $50, and the Force Effects, which are about $150 to $200. But this thing, wow, I'm surprised how bright it shows up on the camera, but it is an excellent lightsaber, and especially given the fact that after we filmed the Star Wars reviews, the Anakin Skywalker saber I used eventually broke after we finished shooting, so I did need to get a replacement, especially for the upcoming prequels. But I do love how this is pretty much labeled in the box as Rey's lightsaber, yet the design is Anakin's saber. I know that in the original trilogy and everything, Obi-Wan probably modified it to look different, but yeah, as you can tell, this one is totally not Rey's, it's Anakin's given the red button, but this thing is actually pretty solid. It makes a bunch of whooshing sounds and everything, the clashing sounds fantastic, and especially when you push on it, oh, it makes kind of the push clashing sound, which I absolutely love. If you can get your hands on these along with Yoda's, Darth Vader's, Kylo Ren's, and Luke Skywalker's, definitely do, because these lightsabers are awesome. Now, this one I couldn't believe I found intact as it was, but to basically quote Comic Book Guy in an episode of The Simpsons,
not even Xena is a match for the limited edition double-edged lightsaber from Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
holy crap, this thing is awesome. This is the Darth Maul Ultimate Effects lightsaber that was released in 2012 when the Phantom Menace 3D came out, and out of all of the Darth Maul toys I've seen, this is one of the best, aside from the original Hasbro 99 one. I know they did put out a retractable blade, which was fucking terrible.
I am Darth Maul. Now you can be like Darth Maul with a new Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber and electronic helmet.
You've never faced my kind before. I am a weapon forged by the dark side.
New Star Wars Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber and electronic helmet, each sold separately, costume not available. Ignite the fight!
But this thing is fucking badass. It has great sound effects. It has great, like, clashing sounds, as you can see. But what's also cool is this is 2-in-1. All you have to do is just twist the end here, and you get 2 lightsabers for the price of 1. Normally, this goes for about $75 online, if not more. But I managed to find this thing for about, where's the price from Value Village? About $8, which is fucking fantastic, because I've always wanted a perfect Darth Maul lightsaber, and this thing is fucking awesome. I mean, it's fucking huge. Look at this. I can't even fit it on goddamn screen. It's so goddamn big. But it's fucking fantastic, and it makes you feel the power of the dark side. Now, while we're on the topic of weapons, I did manage to find a couple of props that were at local costume shops, which were about half off the day after Halloween. So let's take a look and see what we got there. The first one I got was this bloody knife. Yeah, no, I didn't kill anybody with this, honestly, guys. Seriously, I would never do that. But this is one of those plastic knives that have fake blood in it, so when you gash, it actually makes the blood stains come out in the blade, which is pretty cool. But I am planning to convert this into an elvish dagger from Lord of the Rings for a later cosplay build, so I'll definitely probably do a prop shop episode on that, but if you want, here you go. Get a bloody knife. Hope to God this blood doesn't have AIDS. Now this thing is pretty badass. I got this for about 75% off because it was a little broken, but it's still in good shape. And that is a foam replica of Orcrist, the Sword of Thorin Oakenshield from The Hobbit. Now, I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I've always wanted replicas of the Lord of the Rings weapons, and this was an Orcrist that was sold at Spirit Halloween stores, and these are relatively good quality. The only problem is that this wasn't just half off, it was actually 75% off because the tip is gone. But honestly, I don't mind, because for a prop sword that can be used in videos, this will actually really come in handy for me, but I absolutely love this. Like, for pretty much a Spirit knockoff of Orcrist, this is pretty solid. This is actually a really good weapon, so I will definitely use this in later videos. But the next prop I'm presenting here, I could not believe I found so relatively cheap. It was about $5 at Value Village. I couldn't resist. I had to pick it up. That is the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. Now, I have yet to play the Kingdom Hearts games, mostly because I don't own a PlayStation 2, but I have seen the cutscene movie on YouTube, and for what it is, it's a pretty cool story. But I had to get the Keyblade because it was so cheap, but not only that, it's actual fucking metal, and I was like, who the fuck throws out a Keyblade made out of metal for $5? That just makes no goddamn sense. But what's interesting about this Keyblade is that it is a knockoff, essentially, because these aren't really Mickey Mouse ears, which is kind of weird. But it does have the overall look of a Keyblade, so if I ever need to do something Disney-related, I will definitely pull this out for an episode of my reviews, because the Keyblade is honestly pretty cool. It is a little unpractical to hold, but I am trying to get the combatness of it. The only problem is that these edges on the key are pretty sharp, so I would have to kind of dull those down. But as a prop, this thing's pretty solid. It's also very heavy, but yeah, I cannot believe I found a Keyblade, a really good quality Keyblade, for about $5. The last prop I wanted to show is just more of a display piece, but I did manage to get this really cool little treasure chest for future videos, and maybe just a treasure chest for a LARP I want to do. But what's really cool about this is that it contains a lot of trinkets, coins, and jewelry, and different kind of wrist prop pieces that I would need for future videos. I just keep them all in here, which is pretty solid. Any kind of like watches or rings or whatever for cosplays, I'll just keep them in here in case I ever need one. But yeah, this was about $3 at my local thrift shop, and it was actually a pretty solid buy and a really nice place to store all your jewelry and treasures. Staying on topic of Kingdom Hearts and jewelries, and especially video games, I did manage to find a few video games in my local thrift shops in the last few months. First off being this NES joystick that I got at the antique mall that's closing, and this was about $5, but it was half off, so I got it for about $2.50. But it's actually a pretty solid joystick. It does plug into the NES, but I am mostly buying these for cockpit stuff for Star Wars videos and any kind of fighter pilot stuff, and these are always great if you ever need like sort of a fighter pilot joystick in case you're filming somebody in a cockpit. So I am really glad I got this. Keeping with NES, at Fan Expo, I got Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves on the NES. This is by Virgin Games. This came out at the same time as the movies with a wonderful performance by Alan Rickman. If you guys haven't seen Prince of Thieves, check it out. But yeah, this was about $5 at a game booth at Fan Expo, and it's in perfect condition. It's got the box, it's got the manual, it's got the game. I've never played Prince of Thieves on the NES, but if you guys can let me know if it's any good, let me know in the comments down below. But I figured I'd get this because, you know, it's a mint condition game for $5, why the fuck not? But on this Pickup Vlogs, guys, I wanted to show you one of the holy grails that I finally found for my Super Nintendo collection, because at conventions, this thing goes for a pretty penny, and that, of course, is Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. I fucking love this game. Now, funny story about this. Every convention I've gone to that sells Turtles in Time by Konami, Konami makes great fucking games, they're always about 100 to 200 a piece, and I fucking hate that. But a local pawn shop in my nearby town actually had this, I'm not kidding, for $20. But on top of that, it was 25% off. So I got this for $15 at my local pawn shop. So this is incredible that I was able to find this game for so relatively cheap, and I fucking love this game. I played it with Joshua Botello one day, and we had a blast. It's a very simple beat-em-up game based on the classic arcade game, but oh, this game is fucking awesome, and for the price I got, that's pretty damn impressive. One last DVD that I wanted to show off that I got relatively cheap was, of course, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I've heard a lot of good things about the original Dawn of the Dead. I do know what the story is thanks to Monster Madness, but I just got this because I couldn't find this anywhere on DVD for relatively cheap, and this is the special Dynamax edition, which I don't know what the difference is, but this is actually a pretty solid DVD. I have the original Night of the Living Dead and Public Domain DVDs, so as a companion piece to that, I might take a look at this sometime down the road. But yeah, guys, that's about it for this Pickup Vlogs. There was a shit ton of stuff we had to go through this time around, but I wanted to show up what I got in the last few months. But of course, I want to hear from you. What did you guys get on Black Friday on discount, as well as other stuff you got in the last few months? Let me know in the comments section below. So of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is BigJackFilms, signing off.